Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and enjoy this fanfic part 2. Now let's start the fanfic. How is she? Naruto asked, running up the hall as the fifth Hokage left Sakura's room in the Hokage mansion. Well, externally she just has a few bruises, but mentally. Naruto lowered his head in frustration. Why does all of this always happen to her? She has great psychological trauma. I don't know what happened to her while she was in that genjutsu, but she didn't want to be touched by anyone except for the people she knew. She wouldn't even let my assistant go near her. Naruto bit his lip. What happens now? There's nothing we can do, Naruto. She'll just have to get over this in her own time, but there's something else I needed to talk to you about, she said as they stopped in the hallway. Both you and Sakura have been inactive since you went to find Sasuke in the Hidden Sound Village. That was about 3 weeks ago. I need you both back to active duty. Your friends haven't minded picking up your shifts and probably will continue to help you as long as you need it, but eventually Sakura will need to return to work, as will you, she said. Naruto nodded. Do I just take Sakura home now? Naruto asked. Tsunade shook her head. No. I deployed Anbu to stay at your apartment for the remainder of the week until I can get you moved, which means you can either stay here, or with a friend. I'll see what Sakura wants to do, Naruto said. Okay, but Naruto, just so you know, Sakura's a strong girl, she'll get over this, just don't let her push herself too much too early, she said, looking out of a window in the hall. Sakura's love for you pulled her out of that genjutsu. You're the one who gives her strength, you just need to take care of her for the next week, keep an eye on her, be there for her. I'll protect her with my life. Naruto swore. I'm not going to tell you to stop protecting her, Naruto, but it might help her if you stop protecting her all the time and for once, believe in her. Naruto's eyes widened, he then looked down. I do believe in her. She sees herself as a burden to you. She feels like you constantly put yourself in danger by stepping in when she's in battle, Tsunade said, placing her hand on his shoulder. She's a good kunoichi. I know, I trained her myself. Let her show you how powerful she really is. Naruto nodded. Now, I have to get back to work. Call me if she gets worse. Grandma Tsunade, Naruto said, as he looked up at his Hokage. Thank you for everything. Tsunade leaned down and kissed Naruto on the forehead. You're welcome. Take good care of yourself, okay? I will. Naruto walked into Sakura's room. He noticed that every light in the room was on. Hi, Sakura said as he came and sat beside her on the bed. Hey, how are you feeling? Naruto asked. I'm actually a lot better now. I know I kind of fell apart back there and I'm really sorry. It's understandable. You don't have to apologize, Naruto said. So, what's the plan? Where will we stay? Sakura asked. Well, we can stay here tonight if you want to. Sakura nodded furiously. This is good, I like it here. Naruto figured that Sakura wanted to be somewhere where she felt comfortable. He felt a pang in his chest when he realized that the most comfortable place she could be right now would be at home. Sakura. Sakura looked up, her emerald eyes making him melt again. Yes, Sakura. I think it would be a good idea if you went home for a while, at least until you feel better. I'm at home when I'm with you, Naruto. He felt another pang in his chest. Sakura. I just think that you'd be happier back at home. I am home, she said, her hand rested on his thigh. I want to stay with you, and if I go back there then my parents won't allow us to be together. Naruto shook his head. I'm just trying to do what's best for you, Sakura. There's nothing I like more than to have you with me all the time, but I'm just worried I can't offer you the safety and security that your parents offer. Sakura shook her head furiously. I don't need to feel secure or safe, I need to know that you love me. I'll always love you, Sakura, that won't ever change. Sakura smiled warmly. Then let me stay with you, I'll show you how strong I can be. I just think you'd be better off at home, Naruto said. Just until you get over what happened today. Sakura fell silent. Sakura, I didn't mean it that way. I can't go home. You don't understand, I can't. Sakura said. Why not? Because I need familiarity, I need you. Naruto bit his lip. I just don't want to cause you any more harm. Then stop talking this way. She said, laying down on the bed. Are we going to go to work tomorrow? He shrugged. If you feel up to it, we will. I will. Tsunade-sama said that we need to relieve Hinata and Kiba at the eastern gates tomorrow. Naruto pulled off his jacket, t-shirt and his pants, sleeping in only his boxers. He climbed into bed beside Sakura. Well then, we'd better get some sleep. He said, yawning. Despite the fact that it was still mid-afternoon, he felt exhausted by everything that had happened. He leaned to turn the light off. He reached out for Sakura and she retreated into his arms as if she was escaping from the dark. He felt her softly shaking. Sakura, would it make you more comfortable if I dimmed the lights? He asked, and she nodded. He switched the lights back on and then dimmed them to allow her to see comfortably. Come here, he said. Sakura once again clung to him, her arms loosely hanging around him. After a few minutes he heard her softly breathing, telling him that she was asleep. He awoke with a start when he felt a sharp pain in his back. He felt Sakura nails dig into his bare back. She was clinging to him tightly. Sakura. She was dreaming, and he could tell by the expression on her face that she was reliving what had happened that day in her nightmares. Sakura. Naruto yelled, as her nails scraped down his back, leaving red scratches. Stop it, Sakura, he yelled and her eyes opened. Naruto, she said, before backing out of his embrace and falling onto the floor. He flipped on the light and saw her on the floor. She had backed against the wall, her head was resting against her shaking knees. Sakura, Naruto said, his voice full of pity. She held up her hand. Give me a minute, she said, her breathing erratic. Naruto sat in silence, his back stinging. I'm okay, I swear I'm okay. Sakura whispered. Naruto wondered whether she was talking to him or to herself. Naruto came by and sat beside her. I'm right here, he assured her. Sakura reached out and grabbed Naruto's hand, she rested her head on his shoulder. It was then she saw her hands, they were dotted with blood. What happened? She asked, staring at her palms. Naruto turned a bit. You scratched my back while you were dreaming. Naruto said. Sakura covered her mouth with her hand when she saw the deep scrape marks down the length of his muscled back. I'm so sorry, she said. Naruto smiled. It's okay, it doesn't hurt. Sakura had her hand over her mouth, her bottom lip trembled. Naruto, she said, throwing her arms around his neck. She straddled his legs and kissed him suddenly. It was the first time she had kissed him since she had been trapped in the genjutsu. They continued to kiss for what seemed like forever. The breeze from the open window blew Sakura's hair. Suddenly Sakura looked up at him and leaned her forehead against his. Naruto, Sakura muttered. I want you. What? Naruto asked, eyes widening. You're the realest thing I know right now, and I need you. Naruto looked up at her. You're not ready for that yet, you just went through a traumatizing day. That was yesterday, she said, pointing at the clock that read 12:04 p.m. She grabbed the zipper of her uniform and zipped it down, revealing her perfect round S. Sakura, Naruto said, looking hesitant as she ran her hands through his hair, kissing his neck fervently. Sakura, we're in the Hokage mansion, for God's sake, the Anbu could be watching us right now. Let them watch. Sakura whispered sensually into his ears. Naruto closed his eyes tightly. He felt her slide the top of her uniform to her waist, leaving her top half completely, just like his. She hugged him tightly, her S pressed up against his chest. Touch me, she begged, and he couldn't hold back anymore. His hands brushed lightly down her back, making her shiver. Sakura, make love to me, she said, kissing him all over his face, on his neck and over the whisker lines on his face. Sakura wrapped her legs around his waist as he lifted her up and walked to the bed, throwing her into the mountain of pillows and blankets. He groaned as he stood up and stepped out of his boxers. Sakura ripped off her shorts and panties in a rush, Her blood was pumping with lust. She reached out and touched the tip of Naruto's manhood. Naruto, close your eyes. Sakura said, and Naruto did, his eyes closed tightly. She reached out and licked him sensually, making him groan in pleasure. She grabbed hold of him and took him completely into her mouth. Sakura. Naruto moaned. Bright lights flashed behind his tightly shut eyes. She edged on him lightly, moving her mouth up and down on his shaft. She whirled her tongue around the length of him, and she felt him shiver in pleasure. Oh God, he said, his muscles tightening. She smiled as she tasted him. She felt like for once she was in control. She massaged him with her fingers for a few moments until she took him into her mouth again, this time moving her head quicker. Damn it, Naruto spat, he was beginning to lose control. Stop it, Sakura, or I'll be done before this even starts. Sakura looked up at him, her eyes big and innocent. I've never done that before, did I do it right? She asked. Yeah, Naruto muttered, fighting to retain his control. You about finished me off. I have confidence in you. She said, and he pushed her lightly to the bed. Let me give you some pleasure now. Naruto said, pinning her hands above her head. He kissed her lips warmly, tasting her sweetness. Don't move those hands, Naruto said, and Sakura nodded, leaving her hands above her head, her eyes closed softly. Naruto started at her neck, leaving tiny bite marks all over her shoulders and her chest. He edged her gently, smiling as he heard her whimper. He ran his tongue down her torso and around her belly button, kissing it softly. He felt her legs twitch as he ran his fingers down her thighs, then back up, stopping at her. He touched it softly, almost as if he was experimenting with the interesting little nub. He looked up in shock as she sat up suddenly. Her eyes were wide. Right there, she almost yelled. He grinned boyishly as he found her weak spot. He fiddled with her sensitive spot, running his finger over it and then taking it in his mouth. He heard her gasp. Naruto-kun, she murmured. It was the first time she had called him that in a long time. He groaned and climbed up the length of her body, propping his arms on each side of her, hovering over her body. Take me, she begged, positing her body below his. He entered her and tightened his hands into fists as he felt her vaginal muscles tighten around him. Pleasure rippled through his body. Sakura, Naruto muttered, utterly overwhelmed by softness. I love you, she said. She was cradled by the pillows as he pushed inside of her. I love you too, so much. Naruto said, his forehead resting against hers as they developed a rhythm to their lovemaking. Sakura and Naruto soon were coated in a layer of shiny sweat. Sakura was breathing heavily. I'm almost there, she muttered, her nails digging into his biceps out of pleasure. I'll meet you there, Naruto panted, deeply entering her. After a moment, Sakura began to moan uncontrollably. Naruto, Naruto, Naruto. Sakura. Sakura suddenly gasped, her back arching in pleasure as an orgasm shook her body. The muscles inside her began to convulse, bringing Naruto over the edge. He grabbed her tightly, pulling her to his chest, and they came together. Naruto fell beside her, his arms thrown loosely around her as she laid back, her body still shivered in pleasure. I never knew, Sakura muttered, out of breath, that it could feel like that. Naruto grabbed her tightly and pulled her against him, their bodies intertwined. He threw the blanket around them and rested his forehead against hers. Sakura, Naruto said, his voice choppy. She looked up at him to see his eyes overflow with love. A pang of love filled her. It would always be him, only him. Yes, Sakura asked, kissing him lightly on the lips. His eyes closed tightly. Will you marry me? Sakura's mouth opened wide in shock, but when he opened his eyes, she saw that he was crying. She felt a tear roll down her eyes as he laid beside her, tiny droplets of his tears dripping onto the pillow. Sakura woke up the next morning wrapped up in Naruto's arms, a feeling of love filled her. She was now his fiancée. That is, unless he changed his mind after last night. Sakura's S were pressed against Naruto's chest, and her arms were wrapped around his broad shoulders. She kissed his jaw, waking him slowly. She longed to be with him forever. She remembered the night before as he cried and asked her to marry him. She closed her eyes and hoped she wasn't dreaming. Sakura, he muttered, as she took a nibble out of bottom lip. He finally opened his eyes, they glowed a soft blue. His whole expression looked relaxed. He looked so why when he just woke, like he was the happiest man alive. Have you changed your mind? Sakura blurted, unable to hold back her curiosity. No, he said, knowing immediately what she was asking. Have you? No. Good. Naruto said, kissing her lightly. We're going to have to go to work. Naruto nodded, then sat up slowly, turning and grabbing for his boxers. Oh my god, you're back, Sakura muttered, sitting up, running her fingertips over the bright red scrapes over his muscular back. Now there were almost half a dozen more that covered his back and down his arms. I can't believe I did that to you, Sakura said, softly laying her palm on his lower back and sending her healing chakra through his body. It was worth it, he said, pulling his boxers on. Don't move, I can't concentrate my chakra with you fidgeting. Sorry. Sakura finally finished healing his back and he stood, pulling his pants on and walking into the bathroom. She wrapped the sheet around her and leaned against the windowsill. The sun poured in and a gentle breeze blew the sheet against her skin. She was happy. More happy than she's been in a long time. She was now engaged. It was a strange realization that she wasn't quite used to yet. She closed her eyes and giggled. She thought about how Ino would react to the fact that she was going to get married before her. Her smile then turned to a frown as she imagined how her parents would react. She knew the moment she decided to stay with Naruto that she would have to sever ties with her family. They were too awful to Naruto, they treated him like dirt. Sakura had treated Naruto like dirt too when their influence was still over her, but as she got to know him she realized how good of a person he truly was. Then after they were united after the 2.5 years she realized that not only did he grow up a good person, but he grew up a good man. Sakura heard a loud bang on the door, it startled her out of her daydream. She heard the shower in the bathroom running. Standing, she quickly threw on her pair of shorts and Naruto's t-shirt. She could smell him on it, making her smile as she reached for the doorknob. She opened the door and her eyes widened when she saw Jiraiya on the other side of the door. He seemed just as shocked to see her. Tsunade-chan told me Naruto was here, he said, his eyes lingering a bit too long on Sakura's body. He's in the shower, Sakura muttered, her face turning red as he walked into the room. The floor was littered with her panties and bra, along with Naruto's jacket. Well, something happened last night, Jiraiya said, closing his eyes and smiling, and Sakura turned her head to the side. She wondered if he was actually proud of his student for having with her. Sakura made a grossed out face and grabbed her things, throwing them under the pillow. Naruto came out of the shower wearing his pants and toweling off his hair. Well, if it isn't my pupil, Jiraiya said with a bit too much fervor. Sakura crossed her arms and sighed. Pervy sage, Naruto asked, looking up at him. I was just talking to Sakura, he said, beaming. What's going on, pervy sage? Why are you acting so weird? Naruto asked, his brows furrowing. No reason, Jiraiya said, winking at Naruto. I just came by to see if you felt like getting breakfast, but I see that you have a guest, so I'll just leave, he said, patting Naruto roughly on the back. Ow, Naruto muttered, then looked over at Sakura. Hey Sakura, I'm going to need my shirt. Jiraiya's eyes widened and he suddenly sat on the bed. Or I could just stay for a bit, he said, eyeing Sakura. Sakura crossed her arms. She walked over to Jiraiya and punched him with so much force that he hit the wall. Hey, I'm an old man, you can't punch me around like that, he whimpered, rubbing his swollen cheek. Listen, you old pervert, I'm not taking off my shirt in front of you, Sakura yelled. Come on, just pretend I'm not here, he said, opening his eyes hopefully. Sakura grabbed Jiraiya and punched him out of their room, slamming the door behind him. Remind me to thank Tsunade-chan for training you so well, he muttered, walking down the hall, grumbling to himself. Sakura brushed invisible dirt off of her palms and smiled over at Naruto. She walked up to him and hugged him tightly. He smiled and hugged her back. I wish we had enough time to have a repeat of last night, but I think Granny Tsunade would us. Naruto whispered, and Sakura nodded. Well, I have to get a shower before we go to work, she said, grabbing her things and setting them, folded, on the bed. She pulled Naruto's shirt off of her body and threw it at him. He was going to make a comment about his shirt smelling like perfume now, but he was shocked silent when he saw her topless. She pulled off her shorts and grabbed a towel. Naruto's mouth had become dry. She walked by him and kissed him on the cheek as she walked into the bathroom and started the shower. Naruto gulped down a large knot in his throat. That girl was going to be the death of him. A few minutes passed and Naruto heard a loud bang on the door. I'm comin', Naruto said, standing and answering the door. It was the fifth Hokage. Granny Tsunade. Naruto, where's Sakura? She asked, looking around the room. She's in the shower, Naruto said, a little nervous at having his village's Hokage know about the relationship between him and Sakura. Jiraiya told me that she's going back to work, is that true? She asked, seeming worried. She had a little trouble last night, but this morning she's been fine. Okay, but just keep an eye on her, Tsunade said. Tsunade-sama, Sakura asked, walking out of the bathroom in her ninja uniform. Hello Sakura. What's going on? Sakura asked, walking to stand beside Naruto. I just came by to make sure you were feeling better, Tsunade said, setting her hand on Sakura's shoulder. Are you ready to return to work? Yes ma'am, I'm doing a lot better, she said, elbowing Naruto in the side. We're getting married. What? Naruto scratched the back of his head. Yep. Tsunade furrowed her brows together. You both are only 16, you realize you have to have approval from both of your parents in order to be allowed to get married. What? Why? Sakura asked, her mouth agape. It's a rule set down by the second Hokage, Tsunade said. Come on Granny Tsunade, you're Hokage, can't you just order for that order to be eliminated? I mean, who am I supposed to get permission from anyways? Naruto asked, his arms crossed. Listen, Sakura has to have her parents' permission. I can't change the rule without it going through the elders, and if they find out that the carrier of the nine-tailed fox spirit wants to marry at 16, then I'm sure there will be chaos in the upper brass. Can't you just wait? For how long? Sakura asked. She wasn't happy about this at all. The rule is 18. 18. Naruto asked, his voice raising. That's almost 2 years from now. Tsunade sighed. Listen you two, I didn't make the rule. I wish I could help you, but my hands are tied. Sakura nodded sadly and Naruto grunted. I'm sorry guys, I'll let myself out, Tsunade said, turning and leaving. Sakura and Naruto sat at the booth that stood parallel to the road leading out of the village by the eastern gate. Kiba and Hinata had welcomed the break appreciatively. Sakura said as she flipped through an old law book that she had gotten from Tsunade's library. There isn't one loophole in here. Naruto rubbed his temples. It looks like our only option is to somehow convince your parents to let us get married. Sakura shook her head furiously. It will never work. Maybe if they met me, or maybe if I talked to them. I couldn't ask you to do something like that, Sakura said, closing the dusty book. They'd pick you apart. They'd insult you to no end. I've had to deal with that since I was born, Sakura. I'm the most hated person in the village. The people who don't hate me are too afraid to speak to me, Naruto said, sadly. Don't say that, Naruto. I love you. Then let me speak to your parents after work. Sakura said, looking at the ground. I don't think it's a good idea. But will you come with me at least? Naruto asked. Sakura sighed and looked up at him. Fine. Sakura knocked on the door of her parents' house, feeling kind of strange for knocking on the door of what used to be her home. After a few moments her mother answered the door. but as soon as she saw Naruto she closed her door, but Sakura grabbed the door. Sakura, get him away from our house. Let us in, mother. Sakura said, sternly. Naruto rested his hand softly on Sakura's shoulder. Her mother let the door swing open. I'm getting your father, she said, stomping off. Good. I want to talk to him too, Sakura said, walking in through the door of her old home. Not much had changed since she had left, except for the fact that not one frame had her in it anymore. It was as if they had erased her from their lives. Calm down, Sakura. I can feel your chakra, Naruto whispered. I'm here and I'm not going to let anything bad happen to you. It's not me I'm worried about, Sakura said, leaning against one of the pillars in the kitchen. She heard heavy footsteps and took a deep breath. Sakura Haruno, you get that filthy monster out of our house, her father said. He was livid, as was her mother who followed in behind him. Don't yell at her, Mr. Haruno, I talked her into coming here, Naruto said, standing in front of Sakura. Sakura gasped as Mr. Haruno reared back and shoved his fist toward Naruto's face, but Naruto caught his fist in his palm. The man punched for Naruto again, but Naruto caught his other fist and shoved him against the wall. I don't want to fight you, Mr. Haruno, I just want to talk to you and then I'll be out of your house and I'll never return. What's this about? Sakura's mother asked, as Mr. Haruno struggled to get free, but Naruto's hands were tightened strongly over Mr. Haruno's fists. He spat in Naruto's face and Naruto fell back, wiping his eyes. You wanna talk? We'll talk on the dueling pad, Mr. Haruno said, pointing to the backyard that held a large dueling area where shinobi could practice on their jutsus and duel other shinobi. I told you that I didn't want to fight you, Mr. Haruno, Naruto said, his voice stern but calm. Then leave. Naruto crossed his arms and took a breath. Fine, I'll fight you, Naruto, Sakura said, and Naruto turned to see her shaking her head. Don't, Sakura, this is between your father and I. Sakura's jaw dropped. But, if the boy is willing to fight, then we will. Her father spat, as they walked to the dueling pad outside. The sun was setting behind the Hokage mountain. You're not allowed to use genjutsu or ninjutsu, Mr. Haruno said. Taijutsu only. Sounds good to me, Naruto said, and he turned to Sakura. Her open mouth was covered with her fist as she looked at him with worry. He wanted to comfort her but couldn't. He had to do this. They stood on the opposite sides of the dueling pad. The wind blew roughly through the grass as they ran towards each other with intent to. Naruto swung his fist first, but Mr. Haruno got under him, landing a punch in Naruto's stomach. Naruto cringed then chuckled. He finally figured out where Sakura got her rough uppercut from. Now, what is it you wanted to talk about? Mr. Haruno asked, a grin lit up on his face. I want to marry your daughter, Naruto said, kicking him to the ground and lifting him up by his collar. But since we're underage, they won't let us get married without our parents' approval. He spat, sending him across the grass. Parents? Mr. Haruno asked, running up to him and pushing Naruto the hard ground. He hit it with a deafening thud. You have no parents. Naruto laughed, twisting his leg underneath Mr. Haruno's leg, twisting him off of him. He jumped Mr. Haruno and pinned him to the floor. That's why I'm here. Mr. Haruno kicked Naruto off of him and Naruto hit the ground again. Mr. Haruno slowly walked up to Naruto. What makes you think you deserve the right to marry my daughter? He asked, stepping on Naruto's chest. Naruto grabbed his foot and twisted it, tripping him. I don't, he said, kicking Mr. Haruno roughly. But she loves me anyways, and I think that's enough. Mr. Haruno grunted and dived on Naruto, punching him in the face. Blood poured down Naruto's nose and Sakura gasped. Sakura will marry Sasuke Uchiha, he yelled, and Naruto rolled on his stomach and sat up slowly. Mr. Haruno stood too. He was out of breath and was holding his side. Sasuke Uchiha shamed his clan by joining with Orochimaru, Naruto said, his breath heaving. He attempted to end your daughter's life before she broke his ribs. Mr. Haruno's eyes widened. Impossible. He was only seeking revenge. He was supposed to return to Sakura after he achieved it. Despite whether we get Sasuke to return to the village or not, he's not going to marry your daughter. Why is that? Mr. Haruno asked, standing up straight and preparing to attack. Because I won't let him. Naruto said, running towards him, full force. He dove on him and sent him to the ground. Mr. Haruno grunted and gasped, blood dripping out of his mouth. What if I refuse to sign your permission form? Mr. Haruno asked, as he flipped Naruto under him, crushing him into the ground. Naruto coughed up blood, his eyes blurring. We'll have to wait 2 years before we can get married. Mom, they're going to each other. Sakura yelled. Mrs. Haruno looked just as worried as Sakura did. We have to stop them. Mrs. Haruno agreed. They both approached the two men were now rolling around in the dirt. Both Naruto and Mr. Haruno saw Sakura and Mrs. Haruno approaching them. They sat up and pointed their fingers in unison, except Naruto pointed his finger at Sakura and Mr. Haruno pointed his finger at Mrs. Haruno. Stop. Don't interfere, they said in perfect unison. Sakura and Mrs. Haruno froze, mostly at the shock that they had yelled the exact same thing at them. Mr. Haruno looked over at Naruto and tackled him, shoving his face into the dirt. Naruto flipped Mr. Haruno's hand over, landing the man in the dirt. Naruto stood. I'm going to marry your daughter with or without your permission, I just don't want to have to wait 2 years. He stood back as Mr. Haruno stood up. Both of them looked like they were standing on their last legs. Signing that paper would be announcing to the whole world that I approve of this relationship that you have with my daughter. He said, panting. No, Naruto said, taking a gulp of air. Signing that paper will tell the Hokage that you wish for your daughter's happiness and respect her enough to grant her wishes. Mr. Haruno began to run for Naruto again. Naruto took a breath and ran toward him. Naruto! Sakura yelled. Stop. But it was too late. In one last brutal attempt, both Mr. Haruno and Naruto reared back and connected with the other's face in unison. They both stood up straight and looked at each other in the eyes for what seemed like minutes before they both fell backwards and hit the dirt, a cloud of dust surrounding them. Naruto! Sakura yelled. Running up to Naruto, she slid on the grass as she fell to his side. He had passed out. You stubborn boy, Sakura said, sending her healing chakra to her hand. After a few moments of being out cold, Naruto's eyes opened. He held Sakura's wrist as she attempted to heal his wounds. Stop, Naruto muttered. There are some wounds that shouldn't be quickly healed. Sakura looked confusingly into his eyes. Stop letting your pride get in the way of your safety. Asking me to stop being a man is like asking you to stop being a woman. Naruto said, and Sakura's eyes misted. This woman doesn't want her man to be bleeding out of every hole in his body. I'm fine, Naruto said, standing. He looked to see Mrs. Haruno supporting the badly beaten Mr. Haruno. Their eyes met again and Sakura looked up at Naruto, worried. Naruto had a stern expression on his face. I'll sign those papers, his father said, but then I never want you to enter this house again, and if I hear that you hurt my daughter in any way, I will hunt you down and you. Agreed, Naruto said, and Sakura's eyes widened. He had convinced her father that easily. You're such an idiot, Sakura told Naruto as they sat in the extra room of the Hokage mansion. Sakura had her first aid kit spread out before her as she bandaged Naruto's wounds. You could have been. Naruto smiled widely, stretching his already swollen lip. Yeah, but I got him to sign the papers, which means we can get married. Sakura sighed deeply, then a little smile appeared on her face. I'm kind of excited. Me too. Ow, Naruto said as Sakura carefully reset the bone in his ribs. When do you want to do it? I want to have enough time to plan. I want all of our friends to be there. Sakura said, healing the bruises on his stomach and bandaging his ribs. I wonder if Tsunade-sama will be able to marry us. She'll have to because the elders certainly won't do it. Sakura nodded. Because she worked closely with Tsunade-sama, she knew of the elder's ability to interfere when they shouldn't, especially concerning Naruto. They believed that he should remain in the village under constant surveillance to make sure that he remained out of other villages' hands. Can we have the ceremony in 2 weeks? Sakura asked, her hands planted on Naruto's ribcage as she healed the bruises around the broken bone and healed the bone. Can you plan something like that in 2 weeks? Naruto asked, cringing as his bone was forcibly healed. I can if you help me. Sakura and Naruto sat at the outside entrance booth. They were both half asleep. They were guarding during the night shift and hadn't gotten that much sleep the night before. I knew we should have gone straight to bed last night. Sakura said, yawning. Oh please, Naruto said. You were the one who had the idea to do it in the first place. Sakura huffed. Yeah, the first time. Oh, okay, I guess we'll make sure to skip next time. Naruto muttered. Sakura fell silent for a moment. So you're going to hold out on me? I thought that was my job. You couldn't stay away from this too long. Naruto said, pointing at himself. It's okay, you're not the first to fall under my spell. Sakura said, her hand slamming on the table. I'll have you know I can do just fine without that, she said, pointing at Naruto. You sure? Naruto asked, setting his hand on Sakura's thigh, moving his hand up and down on the inside of her thigh. Would you honestly be able to resist me? Oh, of course, Sakura said, her voice stuttering. I don't think you can. Naruto said, taking a nibble of her neck. Well, I can, Sakura said, her face reddening. Fine, Naruto said, his hand moving. We'll see how long it takes you. Naruto and Sakura were getting ready for bed that night. Sakura had a conniving smile on her face as she reached for her most revealing nightgown. It was black, with a low-cut front covered in lace and a short skirt that barely covered the top of her thighs. She looked at herself in the mirror and winked at her reflection. Let's see him stay away from me in this, she thought, walking into the bedroom. Sure enough, as soon as Naruto caught a glimpse of her, he was mesmerized. What's the matter, Naruto? Sakura said with a little giggle. Hey, that's no fair, Naruto said, crossing his arms and turning away. All's fair in love and war. Yeah, but that's just cheap. Naruto said, holding his hands tightly in his lap to keep from reaching out to touch the silk material. I'm just using your weakness to my advantage, Sakura said, brushing by him lightly. The cold silk brushed up against his body. Well then, I will too, Naruto said, his nose in the air as he stripped off his t-shirt and his pants, leaving him only in his boxers. Sakura blushed as she watched Naruto turn his back to her and climb into bed. His muscles rippled with every step. He turned around and collapsed into bed, revealing the breadth of his chest and his six-pack stomach. Sakura stared at him with mouth agape for what seemed like minutes but only ended up being seconds. See, two can play this game, Sakura, Naruto said in a deep scratchy voice. No fair, Sakura said, I have more covered. Sakura said, pulling down her nightgown. Naruto leaned back, his biceps now in her line of view as he rested his head on his palms. All's fair in love and war. Sakura turned around and backed up into bed to keep from looking at Naruto directly. She could feel the area between her legs tighten as she bumped her hand against his chest. They turned to their opposite sides and Sakura took a deep breath as she closed her eyes tightly and tried to think about other things than this boy who laid right beside her. Sakura, Naruto asked after a few minutes. It's about time, Sakura said, without having to hear what he was going to ask. She climbed on top of him and kissed him fervently, moving her tongue gently into his mouth. He kissed her back with just as much desperation as she did. Naruto ran his hands up Sakura's thigh and pushed past the silk nightgown as he pulled it off of her. Oh my god, Sakura said, her palms running up and down his muscular chest. She ran her hands down his arms and took his hands. I knew we wouldn't be able to last, Naruto said, sitting up so that Sakura sat in his lap facing him. He nibbled at her S and at her collarbone. She sighed in deep pleasure. Naruto, she said as he ed on her nipple. Her hands went into his hair, rubbing his scalp. Sakura reached into his boxers and pulled out his erected manhood. She ran her hands over it sensually as he moaned in pleasure. He leaned back as she stuck her butt in the air and began to him gently. Oh my god, Naruto said, his arms and legs shaking in pleasure. Please don't stop. Sakura placed her forefinger tip on the tip of his shaft, smiling sensually. Admit it, she said. Naruto's chest heaved up down as he breathed heavily. Admit what? Admit, Sakura said, licking the underside of him. That you can't live without this. Naruto sat back and shut his eyes tightly. Jesus, Sakura, Naruto said, his breath catching. You know how to really wound a man's pride. Sakura smiled, knowing she had the upper hand. What's going on in that mind of yours? Naruto asked, collecting himself. You think this whole thing is one-sided? Naruto asked, his hand reaching out to touch her. I think not. Sakura's eyes widened as he tackled her to the other end of the bed. Her body shivered as he touched her and softly pushed his finger into her opening. Seems to me that I'm not the only one who has to have this. He whispered as he now fit 2 fingers into her opening. You're soaking wet. Sakura's face tightened as he pushed inside of her with his fingers. He kissed her hungrily. You want this just as much as I do. Naruto, I need you, inside me. Sakura mumbled. It was as close to admitting that she needed to be with him in this way as she could muster. Naruto took his fingers out and positioned himself over her. He rested his forehead against hers and whispered. I need to be inside of you, Sakura. Sakura kissed him softly as he entered her. Pleasure rippled through her as she was filled with the length of him. Their souls merged into one as he developed a rhythm to their lovemaking. Her fists were balled into the sheets as pleasure continued to fill her. Naruto moved his hips around and deeply entered her. There is no one on this earth I'd rather be doing this with than you, Naruto. Sakura said, cupping his cheek with her hand as he entered her again. You're my one and only. Naruto kissed her forehead. I feel the same way. Sakura flipped Naruto under her and straddled his body. She began to ride him roughly, her body bouncing up and down on his torso. Naruto moaned in pleasure as she wiggled her hips. Everything around them was quiet. The only thing they could hear was the sound of their bodies moving against each other and the moans coming from the back of their throats as pleasure and love filled each of them. Sakura, Naruto said, his voice deep. I'm about to come. Sakura couldn't answer but only rode him faster. Naruto grabbed her forearms tightly as he filled her. She closed her eyes tightly and saw stars as she also came, a moan escaping her lips. Sakura pulled out of Naruto and collapsed on his chest, still straddling him. Her head rested under his jaw and he clasped his hand in hers. They laid like that for a while, love radiating between them. I love you, Naruto Uzumaki. Sakura said, her hand intertwined with his. She kissed his chest lovingly. I love you too, Naruto said, squeezing her hand in his. After a few minutes Sakura stood and walked into the bathroom. By the time she came out, Naruto was asleep on the bed, his arms were stretched out in different directions. Sakura just took a moment to stare at him. It was his imperfections that made her love him more. The fact that he was often too brash, and a bit oblivious made him so wide to her, and here he laid, with his whole body stretched out, looking more relaxed than ever. A cool breeze blew into their apartment, and Sakura contemplated putting her nightgown on, but decided to put Naruto's clothes on instead. She felt like being comfortable and she felt the most comfortable in Naruto's clothes. It was a bit big on her, but that was what made it comfy. Sakura pulled Naruto's shirt over her body, and put his boxers on. She sighed as his scent surrounded her. It was a mix of sweat and ramen, which made her smile. She managed to move him to one side of the bed as she gently climbed into bed beside him. She turned the lamp off and closed her eyes, almost immediately falling to sleep. Naruto woke up the next morning, a bright smile lit up on his face. He turned to look at Sakura, but she was gone. He sat up in bed and looked at the time. It was 7:04 a.m. Sakura, Naruto asked, searching for his clothes, but they were gone. He grabbed a new outfit and quickly changed. He walked out of the room and down the large flight of steps. Coming up at the time was Shikamaru. Have you seen Sakura? Naruto asked, scratching his head. I saw her in the cafeteria grabbing a cup of coffee. Shikamaru said, a sly smile on his face. She's wearing your clothes. Naruto's face reddened as he imagined Sakura walking around in his boxers and his t-shirt. Don't worry about it, Naruto, she looks real cute. Shikamaru said, continuing to walk up the stairs. Naruto made his way to the cafeteria and looked for Sakura. She sat on one of the couches, sipping a cup of coffee while talking to Hinata. He watched her from a distance, a warm smile on his face as she sat there, with her legs tucked underneath her. She was laughing at something Hinata had said. Then suddenly Hinata turned and saw Naruto standing there, making Sakura turn too. Naruto walked up to them and greeted them both. Get some coffee, Naruto, it's really good. Sakura said, and Naruto nodded, walking to the stand and ordering a cup of coffee. By the time he had gotten his coffee and walked over to where they were sitting, Hinata had left. She had to go keep watch. Sakura said, then looked down at her attire. I hope you don't mind it, but I borrowed your clothes. Sakura said. Naruto shook his head. I don't mind. You look, Naruto said, looking her up and down. You look really cute, Naruto said, using Shikamaru's words. She smiled warmly. I got a letter from Kasumi today from the Sand Village. Sakura said, standing as they walked back up the long flight of stairs that led to their room. She's doing fine. She says the sand is being really rough on them, but overall they're learning a lot. Naruto walked into their room, sitting on the bed. I wonder how Gaara is doing. He's probably busy being the Kaseki. Sakura commented. Naruto smiled and thought of his friend. Determination filled him to become Hokage. Sakura quickly changed into her ninja uniform. After a moment of silence, she walked over to Naruto and sat on his lap, putting her arms around his neck. I talked to Tsunade-sama today. She began to run her fingers through the hair that was at the back of his neck, making him shiver. She said she'd be happy to marry us. That's good. She asked me where we were going to have it and I told her that we would decide together. Naruto scratched his head. I have no idea where to have it. What about on top of the Hokage mansion, looking out over the entire village? She asked, her head leaning against his. Naruto nodded. That sounds great. Good, Sakura said, because I already told Hinata that's where it was going to be and to spread the word around to all of our friends. I thought we were deciding this together. Naruto asked, looking at her confusingly. I knew you'd say yes. A week and a half passed without much excitement. Sakura had long ago chosen her wedding gown and Naruto had rented his tuxedo. Now they walked along the path that led to the Hokage mansion from Ichiraku Ramen. Naruto had appeared somewhat nervous and depressed all day, so Sakura had treated him to his favorite restaurant. Can you believe we're getting married tomorrow? Sakura asked, her hands wrapped around Naruto's forearm, her head resting on his shoulder. Nope, Naruto said, off in a different dimension. Naruto, are you alright? Sakura asked, stopping. What's the matter? I don't know. It's just the villagers aren't going to be that happy to see me get married. I'm just afraid they might start something. Well, if they do, Sakura said, kissing his cheek. Then I'll punch him. Naruto smiled warmly, but then frowned again. Now what's bothering you? Sakura asked, a playful smile on her face. I was just thinking about Sasuke, and that if he was here, he'd be my best man, not Sai. Sakura frowned. The memory of their teammate had been on both of their minds all day long. Let's not think about that, it's too sad, and we're getting married tomorrow. Sakura said, cheerfully. Naruto nodded and smiled. You're right. Kasumi, Kenji, and Mika are all coming to the wedding. They're on their way now with Gaara, Temari, and Kankuro. They reached a fork in the road and Sakura kissed him on the cheek. That road leads to the Hokage mansion. Sakura said, pointing at the right road. That road leads to the Hyuga residence. Kiba told me you were staying with Hinata. Naruto said, matter-of-factly. It's bad luck for the groom to see the bride before the wedding. She said, kissing him. You only have a few hours left of being a Haruno. Naruto said, smiling. That, Sakura said, as she walked down the left path. Is the best news I've heard all day. Sakura-san, Hinata said, shaking her awake. It's your wedding day. Sakura woke up with a bright smile on her face. It's my wedding day, she said, hugging Hinata. Ino-san is here already, she's going to do everyone's hair. Hinata said, brightly. Thank God. Sakura said, jumping up. I need to shower. That's fine, Ino-san is in the kitchen preparing something anyway. Hinata said, leaving the room. After a short shower, Sakura came bolting down the stairs. Just as she reached the end, she ran straight into Neji, which knocked her face first onto the floor. Sakura, I think it would be a good idea if you settle down, he said, helping her off the floor. Sorry Neji, I guess I'm just excited, Sakura said, rubbing her cheek. Neji smiled. I saw your future husband today. How is he? Sakura asked. Did he pick up his tux? She crossed her arms and made a face. I swear if her forgot that. He was actually on his way to pick up his tuxedo when I ran into him. Neji said. So relax and concentrate on you, not Naruto. Ino came busting in through the door, a plate of appetizers in her hand. The bridesmaid of honor has arrived, she said, making her big entrance. She shoved the plate under Sakura's nose. Eat up, you'll need to be strong enough to say, I do, to that loser today. Sakura smiled and hugged Ino. Despite all of their differences and rivalry, she was definitely Sakura's best friend. Ino reached for Sakura's hair. Now, let's see what we can do about this. Naruto attempted to tie his bow tie for the 5th time. I'm just not getting this, guys. Sai walked up to him and smiled. I will fix it for you, Naruto. He sat in a vacant room in the Hokage mansion along with his groomsmen. He had chosen Sai as his best man along with Kakashi, Kiba, Shikamaru, and Gaara as his groomsmen. Sakura had chosen Ino as her bridesmaid of honor along with Shizune, Hinata, Temari, and Tenten as her bridesmaids. You ready for this, Naruto? Shikamaru asked, adjusting his coat. Naruto gulped. I think so. You don't sound very convincing, Naruto. Kakashi said. He still wore his black mask and covered his left eye with his headband. Yeah man, you're not having any second thoughts, are you? Kiba asked. It's just, marriage is so permanent. Naruto said, running his hands through his hair. You love her. Gaara said, finally speaking up. The red vests that were under the tuxes matched with his red hair. You will never stop loving her. This is just a ceremony to announce that. Naruto nodded and took a breath. I'm ready, let's go. Someone tapped lightly on the door. Shikamaru answered it. It's Hinata, Shikamaru said, letting her in. Kiba's mouth widened as he saw her in a stunning red dress. The skirt came mid-thigh and it hugged every curve. Naruto-kun, Sakura-san wanted me to tell you that she needs a few more minutes, Hinata said, as Kiba walked up to her. You look amazing. Tell Sakura that we'll wait, Naruto said, rolling his eyes as he realized that Hinata was barely paying him any attention now. Thank you, Kiba-kun, she said. Her cheeks were now the color of her dress. She left quickly. Wow, Kiba, you alright? Naruto asked as he saw his pale friend. Did you see her? Kiba asked, his mouth still wide. Geez, Kiba, get a hold of yourself, Shikamaru muttered. Someone might think you're as whipped as Naruto is. Naruto crossed his arms. I'm not whipped. Yeah man, you are. Kiba agreed, smiling widely. But don't feel bad, I'm getting there too. Sakura stared at herself in the mirror. She wore a flowing white dress that caressed every curve. It was strapless with a long train, her veil was just as long. It's time to go, Ino said. Sakura could hear her heart beating in her chest. I'm coming, Sakura said. You look like you're about to go up against the firing squad. Shizune commented. I'm just nervous, Sakura said. She said, holding her stomach, feeling nauseated. Well, you need to settle down then, Tenten said, throwing her arm around Sakura's shoulder. We know you can do it. Sakura smiled. Besides, Tamari said, a smile on her face. I don't want to have to leave for the Sand Village this early. Ino smiled slyly. We all know why too, you don't want to leave Shikamaru. Tamari crossed her arms. I have zero interest in that lazy East, she said, but still blushed a little. Suddenly a knock sounded at the door. Sakura went to answer it, and when she did she saw her parents on the other side of the door. Mom, Dad, Sakura asked, looking confused. Sakura-chan, you look beautiful, her mother said, hugging her. What are you doing here? Sakura asked, returning her mother's hug. We're so sorry for alienating you from the family, her mother said. We were wrong about Naruto. Sakura turned to her father, who hadn't said a word. Dad, I'm especially sorry, Sakura-chan, her father said. Naruto is misunderstood, he said, smiling. He's a good boy, and I'm sorry I didn't trust your judgment from the beginning. If you would have me, I'd still like to escort you down the aisle. Sakura hugged her father. Of course I would, Daddy. What time is it, Sai? Naruto asked nervously. Sakura is only 4 minutes late, Sai answered, resting his hand on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto looked out to all the people who had come to see them get married. Kasumi, Kenji, and Mika smiled widely at him and Kasumi waved. Neji, Lee, Kankuro, Matsuri, Shino, and Choji sat in one row while Jiraiya sat with Ebisu, Moegi, Udon, and Konohamaru, who gave him a thumbs up. Kurenai sat with Asuma, Katetsu, Yugao, Azumo, Genma, Anko, and Guy. Iruka smiled widely as Naruto's eyes set on him. He looked happy and proud. Naruto smiled. Tsuki and Ayame from Ichiraku Ramen were preparing food for after the ceremony. Geez, Sakura, what's taking so long? Naruto asked, tapping his foot impatiently. What if she got cold feet? Naruto asked Sai. Before Sai could answer, everyone around him stood. The music that surrounded him was a soft melody consisting of pan flute and a grand piano. He watched for the door and smiled as Kiba escorted Hinata down the aisle. Hinata glowed in happiness and Kiba looked overwhelmed. Naruto caught a glimpse of Neji in his peripheral vision. He was smiling warmly. Next came Tenten and Gaara, who walked arm in arm. Lee began to clap, so Kankuro grabbed his arm and shook his head. Choji rolled his eyes as Lee. Next was Tamari and Shikamaru, who blushed dumbly and kept as much space as they could between each other as they walked arm in arm. After that was the final group, Kakashi and Shizune. Both Anko and Genma pouted. Naruto stood on his toes to see over his sensei as the last 3 figures exited. Wait, 3. Naruto saw in his peripheral vision her father escorting her down the aisle, and Ino holding her train, but his eyes were locked on the figure approaching him. She looked like an angel, sent to finally bring peace to his heart. She smiled shyly and looked down as he walked down the stairs to take her hand. Her father took her hand out of his arm and placed it in Naruto's open palm. Take good care of my daughter, her father said, a tear rolling down his cheek as he pulled back her veil. She's yours now. I will, I swear, Naruto said as Sakura hugged her father tightly, kissing him on the cheek. Sakura smiled warmly as Naruto led her up the stairs to where Tsunade stood amongst the whole village. Sakura looked down at the streets and noticed a crowd had formed outside of the Hokage mansion. They were all watching with interest as Sakura held Naruto's hand as he led them to speak their vows. Tsunade stuttered, scratching her head. Dearly beloved, we gather here to witness the wedding ceremony between Uzumaki Naruto and Haruno Sakura. If anyone has a reason of why these two should not be joined in holy matrimony, please speak now, or forever hold your peace. The Jinchuriki shouldn't be allowed to get married. A voice called from the rooftop. A lone villager had gotten by the guards and was now screaming obscenities at Naruto. One sec, Sakura said, letting go of Naruto's hand and walking back down the aisle. No one tried to stop her as she made her way to the man. Get him, Sakura, Ino whispered, excited. Shikamaru nodded approvingly. In 1 second before the villager had time to react, she punched him, so hard he went flying off of the roof, hitting another roof. Don't worry, I'll be the one bandaging you up later. Sakura yelled. Everyone laughed at themselves as Sakura walked back up the aisle and up the stairs, grabbing Naruto's hand. Sorry, where were we? Tsunade scratched her head. This is the part where you repeat after me, starting with you, Naruto. I'm ready, he said, staring at Sakura lovingly. We need the rings, Tsunade said, and Naruto looked at Sai, who pulled 2 rings out. One was considerably smaller than the other one, and Naruto handed the bigger one to Sakura. Repeat after me, Tsunade ordered, and Naruto obeyed. He watched Sakura begin to cry as he looked into her eyes and began to speak. I, Naruto Uzumaki, take you, Sakura Haruno, to be my lawfully wedded wife. To share the good times and hard times side by side. I humbly give you my hand and my heart as a sanctuary of warmth and peace, and pledge my faith and love to you. He slipped the tiny ring onto her left hand's ring finger. Just as this circle is without end, my love for you is eternal. Just as it is made of an incorruptible substance, my commitment to you will never fail. My shield of protection is now over you, as it will be, now and forevermore, as long as us both shall live. With this ring, I thee wed. Sakura sniffled as she looked at Tsunade. Come on, Sakura, Tsunade whispered. This is the happiest moment of your life, be happy. Sakura nodded and smiled. I am. Repeat after me. I, Sakura Haruno, take you, Naruto Uzumaki, to be my lawfully wedded husband. She said, more tears slipping out as she covered her mouth and paused. You can do it, Naruto said, his eyes watering as well. She looked Naruto square in the eye as she repeated the rest of her vows. I swear to love you, comfort you, and keep you, forsaking all other, to remain true to you as long as both of us shall live. She said, wiping her eyes. She grabbed his left hand and pushed the wedding band onto his left hand's ring finger. With this ring I thee wed, in sickness and in health, in poverty or in wealth, till death do us part. Sakura burst out in tears as Tsunade wiped her brow. Well, it is my great honor to now pronounce you man and wife. Go on, Naruto, kiss your bride. Naruto pulled Sakura in for a long wet kiss. When he finally pulled away, she hugged his neck, still crying. Geez, Sakura, I didn't mean to make you cry. I'm just so happy, Sakura mumbled. That's why I use waterproof makeup. Ino said, smiling widely. Now presenting, for the first time in public, Mr. and Mrs. Naruto Uzumaki. Tsunade yelled. Sakura hugged Ino and the rest of her bridesmaids as the whole congregation applauded. You hear that, Sakura? You're married now. Tamari said, hugging her warmly. Mrs. Sakura Uzumaki, it has a nice ring, you know. Shikamaru said, hugging her warmly. Congratulations, Naruto. Sai said, hugging Naruto. Whoa whoa whoa, Kiba said, pulling him away from Naruto. Let me explain something to you, Mr. Socially Awkward. Kiba said, pointing at Sakura. You hug her, Kiba said, demonstrating by walking over to Sakura and pulling her into a tight hug. He then walked over to where Naruto and Sai stood. Naruto watched with amusement as Kiba held out his hand and Naruto shook it. You shake hands with the man. Isn't that discrimination? Sai asked. No, it's common courtesy. Kiba said, patting Sai on the shoulder. Sakura finally reached her parents and hugged them tightly. I'm glad you both could come. We're so proud of you. Thanks, Mom, Sakura said, beaming. As a wedding gift, I'm giving you the week off, Tsunade said, hugging Naruto warmly. Sai tapped Kiba on the shoulder. She is breaking common courtesy. Kiba turned to where he saw Naruto and Tsunade hugging. Listen, dude. Girls and boys hug, boys and girls hug, even girls and girls hug, but boys and boys don't hug. I do not understand. You're hopeless. Kiba said, rolling his eyes while walking away. Sakura and Naruto spent the rest of the day celebrating with family and friends a new beginning in their lives. When night was falling, Naruto grabbed Sakura and pulled her into an empty room. I haven't gotten to hold you all day, Naruto said, pulling her into a tight hug. Listen, it's getting late, do you want to leave? Yeah. Where are we going? Where do you want to go? I want to be here, at home, Sakura said, resting her head in his shoulder. Sakura Uzumaki, she said, smiling, I still can't believe it. Let's go home then, he said, as they walked hand in hand down the steps and down the streets leading to their new apartment that they had moved into last week. It was almost identical to Naruto's old apartment, just on a different side of town. They walked up the steps and Sakura unlocked the door. But just as she opened the door, he lifted her into his arms like she was a feather. As he walked over the threshold, he pretended to trip, making Sakura yelp. Kidding, I gotcha, Naruto said, and she giggled, punching him. He dropped her unceremoniously on the bed. Are you as ready for this wedding night as I am? Naruto asked, loosening his tie and pulling off his jacket. Definitely, Sakura said, but first you're going to have to help your wife out of this dress, she said, turning around so that he could reach the tiny zipper down the back. With pleasure, Mrs. Uzumaki, he said, bowing. They lied there in silence after making love, for the third time. Naruto laid flat on his stomach while Sakura laid on his back, her cheek resting between his two shoulder blades. This was the happiest day of my life, Sakura said, her left hand intertwined with Naruto's left hand, their wedding bands glittering in the moonlight. I'm glad, I still can't believe we're married though, Naruto said. Well, you better believe it, she said, kissing his back. I have documentation to prove it. Granny Tsunade did a good job, Naruto said. Suddenly there was a loud banging on the door. Sakura yelped. Who is that? Sakura asked, looking at the clock. It's 2 in the morning. She stood up. Let me get it, Sakura. It might be an emergency at the hospital, she said, pulling Naruto's dress shirt on as he pulled his pants on. Sakura, Naruto scolded. Listen, just because you're now my husband doesn't mean you can boss me around. I'm just considering your safety, Naruto said, walking to the door ahead of her. When he opened it slowly, he saw a fellow ninja on the other side. Uzumaki Naruto, I am sent on behalf of the 5th Hokage, she requests that you come with me immediately. What for? Naruto asked. There is an attack on the north gate, the Chunin ninja said. She requested you along with other remaining Chunin. I'm coming, Sakura said, pulling out her outfit. Since when? Sakura asked, growing impatient. Tsunade-sama has never informed me of such an order. The man ignored Sakura, looking at Naruto. Some of the villagers' homes are already burnt to ashes, others are burning as we speak. If we don't leave now, the whole entire Leaf Village could be in grave danger. I'm coming, give me 2 minutes, Naruto said, shutting the door. Don't go, Sakura said, at barely a whisper. Why not? Because I've never met that man, and I don't trust him either, Sakura said as Naruto ran from place to place grabbing his ninja things. What if he's trying to capture you, Naruto? What if he's leading you away from the village on purpose? I have to go. Why aren't you listening to me? Sakura asked, desperately grabbing Naruto's shirt sleeves. He grabbed his kunai bag and strapped it on his belt. Listen, Sakura, I'll be back before you know it. Don't worry about me, I'm a good ninja, I can take care of myself. Sakura stared at the floor, knowing there wouldn't be any convincing him otherwise. Fine, but if you come back dead, I'll never forgive you. I'm not going to die, Naruto said, stopping to kiss her on her forehead before reaching for the doorknob. Now go to sleep, I'll be back before you wake up. Naruto and the man who had requested him, Kinjo, flew through the trees towards the north. Caution filled Naruto as he saw heavy black smoke rising from that area. Fires were blazing everywhere. He saw a few other ninjas fighting the fire with their earth and water jutsus. Where's the enemy? Naruto asked Kinjo as they stopped on a tree. Kinjo suddenly tied Naruto's body up with chakra strings. It seems I'm the enemy, Uzumaki Naruto. He said with a smug grin. What? Naruto asked as chakra strings surrounded his body. What are you talking about? Are you really that dense? The man asked, slowly pulling off his mask. Are you saying you didn't recognize me? Baki. Naruto said, surprised. But why? I guess I'll have to explain everything piece by piece, Baki said, somewhat annoyed as he kicked Naruto roughly off the tree where he fell a long ways and hit the ground with a loud thump. Naruto felt pain ripple up his back. I've been in hiding for the past couple of weeks. Thanks to your Anbu friends I haven't even been able to come by and check on Haruno Sakura. Baki said, sounding somewhat disappointed. They've been hunting me, but no one can find me when I don't want to be found. He walked around Naruto in a circle, stopping every time he spoke. Seeing Sakura tonight was sickening, she seemed so happy, so at peace. He said, so I decided it was time that she had a change of mood. You bastard, why don't you leave her out of this? Naruto asked, a comment that earned him a swift kick in the face. He felt his lip bleeding. Because she's too close to you, too connected to you. The man said with a snarl. She loves you, and that's reason enough for me to make her life hell. What are you planning? Naruto asked. Baki paused. I plan to you, in the most painful and the most graphic way possible, and then replay this whole scene for Sakura. I want her to know every detail of your gruesome and horrifying death. I want her to relive it every waking moment of the rest of her short life. I want her to blame herself for not coming after you. I can't believe you, why do you want to hurt her so much? Naruto asked, his body shaking. Because she deserves to be hurt, she deserves to suffer. She deserves to live a good life. Naruto yelled. The man leaned in for another swing, but before he could reach Naruto, a palm caught his fist. Naruto's eyes looked up. If you ever lay a hand on my husband again, I swear I'll pulverize you. Sakura said, standing in front of Naruto. Sakura. Naruto yelled, shocked. Husband? Baki asked, confused. Sakura held up her hands, ready to fight. You heard me right. Her wedding band glistened in the moonlight. Sakura. Why the hell are you here? He's going to you. Go home. Go home now. Shut up, Naruto. Sakura muttered, her eyes narrowing as she stared at her foe. If the tides were turned, then you would be the first one here. She said, her muscles tensing. I'm a kunoichi of the village hidden in the leaves, and it's my duty to protect the one person I hold most dear, and here I am, fulfilling my duty. Sakura crossed her arms and spat at the foot of the man in front of her. Well, Sakura, I don't know, are you sure you don't want to end up like last time, useless? Useless sitting on the floor like a little girl. I'm not a little girl anymore, Baki. Sakura said. And you will be the one dying tonight, for hurting Naruto. Sakura. Naruto muttered and suddenly thought back to what Granny Tsunade had told him a while back. I'll protect her with my life. Naruto swore. I'm not going to tell you to stop protecting her, Naruto, but it might help her if you stop protecting her all the time and for once, believe in her. Naruto's eyes widened, he then looked down. I do believe in her. She sees herself as a burden to you, she feels like you constantly put yourself in danger by stepping in when she's in battle. Tsunade said, placing her hand on his shoulder. She's a good kunoichi, I know, I trained her myself. Let her show you how powerful she really is. Naruto frowned. He was proud of Sakura, and he believed in her, but not even him, Shikamaru, Sai and Choji could put a scratch on this guy. Sakura bent her knees and ran towards Baki full force. Naruto's eyes widened, this could be over in less than a minute. Sakura. Sakura swung her fist back and punched, but it didn't connect, instead Baki caught her fist in his palm. That's cute, Sakura, he said, as he squeezed her palm roughly. But a bit too hasty. Sakura. Get away from him, run away. Naruto yelled as the man twisted Sakura's wrist, making her yelp. I won't run away, Sakura said, before using her other fist to punch him, but his other hand grabbed her other fist. Then die, Baki said, a sword coming out of his body. It reached Sakura's torso quickly and stabbed her in the chest. She gasped as it cut a hole through her uniform and through her body. Sakura fought to get out of his reach, finally pulling away from him. Sakura! Naruto yelled when he noticed that Sakura had blood dripping down her uniform. Oh god! Sakura spat out blood unceremoniously and approached him again, this time making a hand sign. What are you planning, Uzumaki Sakura? Baki asked as he once again caught Sakura's fist. I think we've played this game before. She swung again using her other fist, which Baki caught. Mystic Palm Jutsu, Sakura said, and in one lethal move she had severed off his left hand using her healing chakra. Baki let go of her and jumped back holding his severed hand. How did you? This is not only my best healing attack, but also one of my best offense attacks. I can do surgery on you right now and I don't even have to pull out my scalpel. Sakura muttered. You bitch. Baki yelled. I'm going to you. With what? You can't use ninjutsu and your taijutsu shouldn't be that efficient either. The man growled. Naruto sat back in awe as he watched Sakura, with blood and sweat dripping off her chin. She looked so magnificent in front of him, standing. Her hair blew in the light summer breeze. She was livid, not the kind of angry that Naruto saw when she was mad at him, but the kind of angry that stopped her talking. She was silent as she stared at Baki, confidence radiating from her stance and her expression. I'm going to crush you. Naruto's eyes widened as suddenly he saw her fall to her knees. Always using the same tricks, aren't you, Baki? Sakura whispered as she coughed out blood. Genjutsu is your only outlet, isn't it? Did you like it this time, Uzumaki Sakura? Baki said, kicking her to the floor. His foot stepped on her neck. Sakura, did the dying body of your child seem too over the top? He asked, and Naruto's eyes widened. I hope I made it as realistic as possible. Didn't he look exactly like his father? Oh, that was supposed to be my child. I thought it was someone else's. Sakura said, coughing up blood as Baki pushed harder down on her windpipe. Sakura, listen, you idiotic girl, I'm going to you. Sakura suddenly grabbed the man's ankle and twisted it, shattering the bone. One thing I meant to ask you. Sakura said, as Baki fell back. Why exactly do you have the Sharingan in the first place? Uchiha Itachi murdered the whole clan years ago, who are you really? The man paused and smiled. In order to obtain the Sharingan, Baki said, crawling towards Sakura. I found the first dead Uchiha I could find and stole his eyes. Sakura's eyes widened. You defiled the dead. That's right, Baki said, when suddenly he jumped on Sakura and began to punch her in the face, over and over. Naruto watched helplessly as Sakura got beaten. He pushed against the chakra strings, slicing his arms and body up. Tears rolled down his face. Why was he so helpless? Frustration and anger grew in Naruto as Sakura continued to struggle to get a hold of him. The first tail of the Kyuubi released itself and Naruto pushed harder on the strings, making Baki look up. Why is my chakra draining so quickly? Baki asked. It was then he saw Naruto. But before he could react, Sakura had reached up and suddenly he was blinded by Sakura's sharp fingernails. Let's see you use genjutsu ever again, you stupid creep. Sakura said, as she watched with mild horror as he stood before her, his eye sockets bleeding. She had used her mystic palm jutsu to rip out his eyes. He stood before her, blind and handless. I'm going to you, Baki said, wrapping his other hand around Sakura's neck. He squeezed so hard that she felt her throat collapse. In one last lethal move, Sakura severed his carotid artery and kicked him off her, leaving him bleeding and dying right beside her. She couldn't breathe, she couldn't speak, and she couldn't scream. She quickly tried to repair her trachea as quickly as possible. Soon she could just barely breathe, but she could only breathe shallowly. Sakura! Naruto yelled, running to her side. She reached out and gripped his shirt tightly, trying to stop the pain. Can't breathe that well, Sakura said, her voice raspy. Tsunade. Don't worry, Naruto said. I'll take you to her. Hold on to me. Sakura did as he lifted her into his arms. He ran for the Hokage mansion. Sakura was fighting for air as he ran with all his might. She had saved his life. Here, on the night of his wedding, he had been targeted and captured, but she had rescued him. She had fought for him, she had almost died for him. Sakura, hold on. Naruto ran up the remaining steps leading to the Hokage's room. It was now 3:30 in the morning when he kicked the door with his shoe. Granny Tsunade, I need you. Hurry out here. Naruto said desperately. Tsunade came running out of the room in her pajamas that consisted of a long shirt and a pair of loose pants. What is it, Naruto? It's 3 in the morn. She froze when she saw Sakura. What happened? Tsunade said, taking Sakura out of his arms and letting him in. I can't breathe, Sakura whispered, grabbing desperately to her master. Tsunade nodded. Okay, Sakura. Don't talk, it will only make it worse. He choked her. Naruto said, his voice catching. He looked worried. Baki did all of this. Choked her? Tsunade asked, looking at Sakura before running to her. Shit. Her trachea collapsed. Naruto stood back and watched as Tsunade quickly began to repair her throat. Tears rolled down his cheeks as he watched Sakura, fighting to live. Come on, Sakura. Don't give up. Tsunade said suddenly. Naruto looked up in shock. Granny Tsunade, Naruto muttered. A long silence ensued and Tsunade was breathing loudly as she fought to heal Sakura. Tsunade suddenly gasped. Stop it, Sakura. You're stronger than this. Tsunade yelled, grabbing her shoulders tightly. What's wrong? Naruto asked. Tsunade turned to him for a moment before concentrating on repairing her throat. She's dying, she said sadly. Naruto's eyes widened and his whole body shook. This was his fault. He was the one who had left tonight. He was the one who had been helpless. He was to blame. Shizune came running in with a robe on. What's going on? She asked. Before seeing Naruto in the room with Sakura on the bed, her eyes closed. Thank God, Shizune, it's about time. Tsunade scolded. Get over here and continue repairing Sakura's trachea. Tsunade said. I have to repair her heart. Tsunade said and Shizune nodded. Quickly moving to Tsunade's side, Shizune started repairing Sakura's throat where Tsunade had stopped. Tsunade then moved to Sakura's chest and began her healing jutsu there. Tsunade-sama, her trachea has been repaired. Shizune said, after a moment, and Tsunade nodded, continuing to use her jutsu to close the sword wound. After a moment, Tsunade leaned back and took a deep breath. She's breathing, and alive. She told Naruto, who was crying. Don't worry, you brought her in just enough time to save her life, good job. Naruto fell to his knees, his head in his hands, he was sobbing. Thank you, Granny Tsunade. Tsunade ruffled his hair. You're welcome, now why don't you tell me what exactly happened? She said, sitting down at the table, grabbing a bottle of sake and 2 cups of coffee for Naruto and Shizune. Naruto explained the whole story to them, rubbing his tired red eyes and crying a few times. After Naruto had quieted, Tsunade looked down and smiled proudly. Good for you, Sakura. What? Naruto asked, looking confused. Ever since you started dating, Sakura has been your burden. She needed you to save her from Sasuke once, she needed you to save her from Orochimaru, she needed you to save her from Baki. You've accepted this and have taken responsibility as her protector and her lover. But what you didn't realize what that fact was eating away at her. What do you mean? She's a powerful kunoichi, a chunin, a team leader. She's the leading medical ninja in the whole village, for God's sake, but despite all that, she saw herself as a failure. All of her life she found out that she couldn't protect the person she loved the most. She couldn't protect Sasuke when she was younger, which is why she relied on you to help her find him. She couldn't protect you when she got older. Don't you see how frustrating this could get to be to her? Naruto nodded. But it seems like she finally became strong enough to protect the one person who was actually worth dying for. Tsunade said, looking over at Sakura, asleep in the big bed. Naruto watched her as well, tears welling up inside his eyes. I don't want her to do that. I don't want her to end up like this. Naruto said. Naruto, Tsunade said, crossing her arms. Sakura loves you. I doubt she'll stand back while you get hurt. Naruto stared at the ground. Now, Tsunade said, standing. Shizune and I have business to attend to, like alerting Anbu and doing paperwork. You both can stay here tonight, I will stay in an extra room. Tsunade said, walking out, Shizune in tow. Naruto climbed in bed beside Sakura. He was too afraid to even touch her. After a few moments of testing the waters, he finally grabbed her hand. Naruto, Sakura said, moving to look at him. Where am I? Tears welled up in Naruto's eyes. He couldn't control them. To see her alive just brought tears to his eyes. He buried his face in her palm that he held in his hand, tears rolling down his face as his shoulders shook. Naruto, Sakura asked, running her hand through his hair. Are you alright? Naruto sat up and inspected her carefully before opening his mouth. You idiot, you could have died. Glad to see you're okay too, Naruto. Sakura said sarcastically. I can't believe you went at him full force like that. What were you thinking? I was thinking that I wanted to save you. Do you have any idea how hasty that was? You would have done it. No, I wouldn't have. I would have considered my options and would have used a long-range attack. No, you wouldn't have. You would have deployed a shadow clone and would have used your Rasengan just like you always do. How do you know? I wasn't even fighting. Because I know you, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto scratched his head annoyingly. How come you're this energetic after almost dying? How come you want to argue with me right after I almost die? Because I don't want you to do something like that ever again. Naruto yelled, his face red with anger. Sakura quieted and turned away from him. Her back to him. Sakura, promise me you won't ever put yourself in danger for my sake ever again. Sakura didn't speak. Sakura woke up the next morning feeling sore and sad. Naruto was angry at her. She knew why he was angry but didn't believe that it was a fair reason. Why was it that he could constantly put his life on the line at the drop of a hat to save hers, but when she tried to do it, he got angry? It was supposedly their honeymoon and they were having the worst fight they've ever had. He wasn't even talking to her. He wasn't even sleeping with her. Sakura sighed heavily. She wasn't going to let him ruin her day. She stood and carefully inspected her neck. The bandages would have to remain on her neck and torso for the next couple of days. She opened the door leading out of the Hokage's bedroom and went to find her extra room in the mansion. There she had left an extra change of clothes during the wedding in case they had been assigned a mission during the ceremony. Luckily, all of her medical gear was there too. She quickly changed and walked upstairs to Lady Tsunade's office. She rapped on the door but heard talking on the other end. If you have a good reason, then come in. Tsunade said, almost like she was looking for a distraction, but when she walked in she saw Naruto leaned against Tsunade's desk, peering to see who had interrupted his conversation with the Hokage. You, they both said in unison, pointing at each other. Sakura crossed her arms and narrowed her eyes angrily as she slowly approached Tsunade's desk. Naruto had already faced his back to her. Tsunade-sama, I just came by to inform you that I was going to the hospital to work for today. As I was telling Naruto when he also was requesting work. You're on a vacation. Sakura snorted. But I'm actually needed at the hospital. What's that supposed to mean? Naruto said, his fists tightening. Do you need me to repeat it again? Naruto didn't get it all the first time. Oh, I got it, Sakura, and I'll have you know that I'm about to be put on an S-rank mission. Like hell you are. Shut up, both of you. Tsunade yelled, beating the desk. They both silenced. Listen to you both. Naruto, you're not getting your S-rank mission because for one, all the S-rank missions have been filled, as is the A, B, and C rank mission. If you want a D rank mission, like the rest of the genin, then I'll be happy to assign you. Tsunade said, and Naruto's face fell. She then turned to Sakura. And you're not getting to work at the hospital today because if anything you should be at the hospital right now. Look at you, your injuries are only a few hours old. Sakura, even now you're playing with fire. You need to remember that you don't have the cellular regeneration that Naruto has, so you can't just get up the next morning and expect to be good as new. Sakura nodded, sadly. Now, I married both of you yesterday, what in the hell happened? Tsunade said. Both Sakura and Naruto pointed fingers at each other and began yelling complaints to the Hokage. Stop it, Tsunade yelled, silencing them again. Let's try this one at a time. Sakura, you go first. Aw man, Naruto said, muttering a groan. The only reason Naruto's angry at me is because. I don't want to know why Naruto is angry, Sakura, I want to know why you're angry. Tsunade said, tapping her foot. Because Naruto's mad at me. That's it? Tsunade asked. Yes. Okay. Then this whole problem seems to stem from you, Naruto. Why don't you explain why you're angry? Because she's putting herself in danger in order to protect me, and I don't think that's right. Naruto, Tsunade said, growing impatient. I've told you thousands of times, if you plan to protect Sakura then plan on Sakura protecting you. But you don't understand, it's hard on the male ego. I get that, trust me. Sakura interjected. Sakura, Tsunade scolded. No, it's not that. Naruto yelled, turning to Sakura. It's because I don't like to see you like this. With bandages and bruises everywhere. Sakura threw her hands in the air. And you know I just love it when we get back from the mission and I have to spend days repairing your entire body. I have to take care of you, you're a medical ninja. Well, your Konoha's Jinchuriki. Sakura screamed suddenly, but then covered her mouth. Naruto fell silent. Oh, Naruto said, sadly and with a twinge of sarcasm. That's why you saved me back there, didn't want to lose the toy of the Leaf Village. Was that it, Sakura? Naruto said, angrily standing and heading for the door. Naruto, wait, I didn't mean it like that. Sakura said, running after him. She grabbed his arm. You know I didn't mean that. Naruto turned to Sakura. Is this all I am to you? Naruto asked, ripping off his shirt where the fourth seal was slowly fading from the night before. Was that the only reason you married me, to play God with the Jinchuriki at your command? Naruto hissed. Tears spilled out of Sakura's eyes. Of course not, Naruto. That's all I was to you. A toy, a possession, and when your precious toy was stolen, you jumped into action like a 5-year-old girl bitching for her doll back. Naruto spat, every word cutting Sakura like a knife. He ripped off his wedding band and threw it to the ground and Sakura's feet, walking out. Sakura fell to her knees as he stomped out. Her hands scooped up his wedding band, her shoulders shaking as something died inside of her. Naruto. She screamed in between her sobs. As soon as she did, someone came running into the room. It was Shikamaru. Is everything okay in here? I heard screaming, he said, but then saw Sakura crying in front of him. Sakura, what's wrong? Tsunade-sama, what happened to her? Naruto was an idiot, Tsunade said, resting her head on her hands, deep in thought. Again, Shikamaru asked. Looking down at Sakura, she looked more upset than she did when Sasuke had left. What did he do now? He broke up with her. Shikamaru crossed his arms. I'd better go find him. Sakura, just so you know, Ino is downstairs if you want to talk to her. Shikamaru said, running out and down the stairs. Sakura sat there, still on her knees, still at the entrance of the office, still sobbing. She couldn't stop. Was she single again? She hadn't even been married for a full day before he had broken up with her. She caressed his ring and cried into her hands. Sakura, you should go talk to Ino, I can't really help you with this. Tsunade said and Sakura nodded. Thank you, Tsunade-sama. You're welcome to stay here if you need a place to stay. Tsunade said and Sakura shook her head. I'm going to stay with my parents. Sakura said. Good. Come see me if that wound doesn't improve. Yes, ma'am, she said sadly as she left. Naruto stomped angrily through Konoha with no serious intent of going anywhere or doing anything. He was so steaming mad, he knew that he didn't really give her a chance to explain herself but decided that it was the truth. I can't believe her, Naruto muttered, his face livid. Naruto. Hey Naruto, Shikamaru said, suddenly running to him. Naruto waved dumbly and continued to walk. Hold up for a minute. I'm not exactly in the best talking mood right now, Shikamaru. Naruto said. I can tell that, buddy, but we still need to talk. You talked to Sakura, didn't you? Naruto said, his walking turning into running, but then suddenly Naruto was frozen by Shikamaru's shadow possession jutsu. Actually, I saw Sakura, but she was crying so hard she couldn't even speak. Oh, she was she? Naruto asked, snorting. It must have her toy gone again. She had scooped your wedding band into her hand and was holding it like it was her last connection to you. Naruto fell silent. What a showboat. Naruto, you know Sakura better than me, and I know that she'd never do something like that, so you must know it too. Naruto sat on the grass frustratingly. I can't believe she went off and did this the day after our wedding. Will you quit blaming her? I'm sure you had a part in it. Shikamaru said, and Naruto leaned back on the warm grass looking out into the sky. The sky was blue but there was big puffy clouds all over the place. Shikamaru joined him and leaned back. They watched the clouds in silence for at least an hour before Naruto finally spoke. So she was really torn up? Naruto asked. She looked like someone had ripped her heart out. Naruto slapped his forehead. I'm such an idiot. Yes you are. Shikamaru agreed. Do you think she'll take me back? Naruto asked, scratching his head. I think so, but you'd better go now, she's pretty torn up already. Naruto stood and ran off, thanking Shikamaru. A storm was brewing as Naruto walked back in the Hokage mansion. He saw Ino sitting at a couch, so he went up to her. But when he did, she stood and punched him in the face so hard, he went flying to the end of the room, where he hit the wall, breaking it. You have a lot of nerve, coming up to me to talk. So I guess you heard what happened. Naruto stated, rubbing his swollen cheek. Yeah, it took me an hour to make her stop crying. Where is she? I'm not saying a thing to you, Naruto Uzumaki. Ino said, turning away. Where is she, Ino? I'm not going to make her cry this time. Naruto promised. After a moment of hesitation, Ino sighed. Fine. She's out looking for you, she's been gone for a while now. Naruto thanked her and walked out of the mansion. Sakura could be anywhere, and it had began to rain. Naruto began calling out her name as he ran to the hospital, then to the village center, and then to the shopping circle, Sakura's favorite places, but she wasn't there. He finally decided to go to the training grounds. He was soaked and he seriously hoped that Sakura was inside somewhere warm. Unfortunately, he saw her at the training grounds, her back against the three stumps where they had first become an official team 6 years ago. Her knees were drawn to her chest and she was crying softly. Her hair was sopping wet and her face was hidden in her knees. Sakura, Naruto muttered, walking up to her. Sakura looked up after seeing Naruto. She looked up hopefully. Had he come to forgive her? Naruto, Sakura said, as Naruto fell to his knees beside her. The rain beat against his body and face as he rested his hands on her knees. Sakura, give me my wedding ring back, Naruto said, kissing her forehead. She smiled widely and cried, diving into his arms. He held her softly. She pushed his ring back onto his ring finger. I'm so sorry, Naruto said. I am too. You didn't do anything, Naruto said. I've been such a jerk and I'm seriously sorry. She hugged him. I forgive you. Naruto put his jacket around her. Jesus, Sakura, it's freezing outside. Sakura pulled closer to Naruto. I know. Let's go home, Naruto said, helping her up. Sakura sat on the bed as Naruto carefully changed the bandage on her neck. Geez, Sakura, this is your area of expertise, Naruto said, awkwardly rolling out a bandage. I can't reach it, Sakura said, then gasped. Ow, Naruto, not so rough. Sorry, Naruto said, his tongue sticking out as he applied the bandage. There. Thanks, Sakura said, reaching up and adjusting it. She yawned and collapsed on the pillow. Naruto did the same, his chin resting on her abdomen. He looked up at her smiling. We have a whole week to do nothing. I know, Sakura said, rubbing her neck. My neck hurts. Damn it, Naruto said, sitting up. I knew I didn't do it right. Sakura grabbed his hand and squeezed it tightly. No, it's not that, it's just sore. Naruto looked into her eyes with love and concern. Don't push yourself so much. Sakura suddenly sneezed, her head bobbing. Ow, what did I just say? I couldn't help it, Sakura said, her hands wrapping around her neck. Lay down, Naruto ordered and went to the kitchen. He filled a few bags with ice and came back to set them gently on her throat and on the back of her neck. There, now don't move. Thanks, Sakura said, sighing. I'm going to go to bed, Naruto said, shutting the light off and climbing into bed. Naruto ran his fingertips over Sakura's arm as she slowly drifted to sleep. It was still hard to believe that she was his. He watched her chest rise up and down with every breath. She was so beautiful, even with the bruises and injuries. He went to sleep, happy and at peace. Naruto, Sakura yelled, waking him up. He opened his eyes to see her clinging to one of the pipes hanging off the wall, stuck to the ceiling. What the hell is going on? Naruto asked, jumping up, looking left and right. Are you alright? The biggest spider just crawled over my foot, she said. Kill it. Naruto looked up at Sakura in disbelief as she stood there, clinging to the pipe on the ceiling like it was her lifeline. Jesus, Sakura, it's just a little bug. It was not a little bug, that thing was like the size of my head. Naruto searched the floor. There was a few leftover ramen cups and some of their stuff that they still had to unpack on the floor, but there was no spider was in sight. I don't see him, he must have scurried off somewhere, Naruto said, standing up and holding out his arms from under Sakura. Now come on down. Sakura sighed and dropped into his arms. He laughed at her and she punched him. Suddenly she jumped again. There it is, Sakura said, jumping up and landing on Naruto's shoulders. She wrapped her arms around his head, her palms covering her eyes. Get it, Naruto. Get it, it's right there, she said, jumping up farther on his shoulders. I can't see anything, Sakura. It's right there, she screamed. No, I can't see anything because you're covering my eyes, Naruto said. Oh, Sakura said, letting go of him, falling flat on her bottom on the hardwood floor. Ow. Oh, there it is, Naruto said, sweeping it out the door. It was pretty big, maybe the size of a quarter. There, it's gone. Naruto collapsed back into bed and covered his head with a pillow. He felt her weight on it as she climbed in. She straddled him and removed the pillow. He grunted and covered his head again. Guess what? Sakura said, still straddling him. She leaned her body to a full 90 degrees and laid on his flat chest. Naruto sighed and looked down at her pink hair under his jaw. What? She looked up at him and smiled brightly. Ino's holding a wedding party for us. Naruto propped his head up on his hands and stared at her. I thought people usually have their wedding party before the wedding. Well, we didn't have enough time to plan a wedding party and a wedding in under 2 weeks, so we're going to have it this afternoon. Aw man, Naruto said, rubbing his forehead. What are we planning on doing? Well, first we're meeting at the new miniature golf course at the east side of Konoha, then we're going back to the Konoha lake where we can swim and Ino's going to prepare a nice picnic. It actually sounds like fun, Naruto said. When are we leaving? In a few hours. Great, Naruto said, rubbing his eyes. What are we going to do until then? Sakura winked. I can think of a few things we could do. Naruto busted out laughing and Sakura frowned. What? It's just the way you said that. Sakura's eyes widened. Well fine, that's the last time I tried to act why around you. That wasn't why. You know what, Naruto, Sakura said, crossing her arms, still straddling his body. You can just go screw yourself cause you're not getting any help from me. Oh come on Sakura, I was just kidding. Why is it that every time I try to say something why I end up sounding like an idiot? She asked, poking him in the chest with her finger. I don't know, Naruto said, brushing the tops of her thighs with his fingertips. But all of this arguing has got me in the mood. Well, I meant what I said before, you can do it yourself. Sakura, Naruto said, shocked. Come on, that's not fair. Get over it. Fine. Say something why, I swear I won't laugh. Sakura uncrossed her arms and looked at him skeptically. You promise? Yeah. Sakura looked around the apartment to see if anyone might be watching them and then looked deeply in his eyes. I want you to me up real good. Naruto stood motionless for a few moments before his face turned red and he busted out laughing like it had been bottled up for years. Sakura huffed and climbed off him, stomping to the other side of the room. Damn you Naruto Uzumaki. Oh come on Sakura, it's just, you should have heard yourself. Naruto said, still rolling with laughter. Sakura crossed her arms and blushed a bright red. Oh shit, Sakura don't be embarrassed. Naruto said, sitting up and running over to her. She looked as if she was about to cry. Stop that, I was turned on, I really was, look. Naruto said, pointing down to the bulge in his pants. Sakura looked up to him looking just a bit bewildered and a bit helpless. Really? Really? Naruto said, biting his lip as if he was holding back a giggle. Sakura punched him. Do you realize how ridiculous it is that I'm happy you had a hard-on, you pervert? Naruto leaned deep into her personal space, his head leaning against hers. Well, if you don't like it, I know a way you can make it go away. Sakura stared at him for a few seconds before she too busted out laughing. That was the saddest attempt I've ever seen when it comes to seducing someone. Hey, it's tons better than what you said. Naruto said, becoming offended. Let's not sweat the small stuff and just do it. Sakura said, grabbing Naruto by the collar and dragging him to the bed. That's simple enough. You got me going. Naruto said, kissing her roughly as he pulled off his clothes. Naruto and Sakura smiled widely as they approached all of their friends at the miniature golf course. Sakura-chan, are you feeling better? Hinata asked. Sakura nodded as she watched Hinata. She was leaning against Kiba's back holding a golf club in her hand, Kiba's arms were around her waist. Akamaru sat beside Kiba, panting. Tamari stood beside Ino, she looked concerned. I heard you took out a man that even Anbu couldn't get. Sakura looked at Tamari with a smile. So you decided to stay him? Tamari blushed. Well, there's some business I still need to attend to here. Where's Gaara and Kankuro? Naruto asked, and Tamari blushed deeper. They actually left this morning for the Sand Village, with Gaara being the case he can't afford to be gone for too long. Oh, so you decided to stick around huh? I guess there must be some great benefits to staying around these parts. Ino teased. Oh come on guys, leave her alone. Shikamaru said, crossing his arms. And I find it insulting to be referred to as a benefit. Naruto's mouth dropped open and Tamari blushed and waved her arms in the air. What he means is that we're just good friends, and we enjoy each other's company, and we have a romantic interest in each other. Shikamaru said, swiping a blue golf club. So leave us both alone and worry about your own relations. Sorry Shikamaru, Ino said. Yeah sure. Silence erupted in the group until finally Shikamaru spoke up. Well Jesus guys, I didn't mean to be such a joy. Sai suddenly appeared out of nowhere right beside Ino. Hello everyone. Ino jumped into Sakura's arms, her eyes wide with surprise. Damn it Sai, you scared the shit out of me. What's your problem? You can't just pop in like that. Sai smiled at her. I am sorry for scaring you, Ino. Ino huffed and climbed out of Sakura's arms. You're the weirdest kid. Suddenly 5 figures approached. It looked like 2 of them were in a heated conversation. Oh shit, this isn't good. Ino said, crossing her arms. Oh no, Hinata squeaked. What's going on? Sakura whispered in Ino's ear. You know how Tenten liked Neji, but Neji didn't have time for her. Ino asked. Yeah, well, he suddenly made time. Ino said, pointing at the two figures. It was Neji and Lee. Tenten was between them trying to control the peace. They've been fighting over her for the past couple of days, ever since your wedding. Shit, Sakura said, crossing her arms. Shino and Choji walked along with them. They looked as if they was terribly left out of the conversation. Hey everyone, Tenten said, a hint of frustrated exhaustion in her voice. Hey Sakura, are you feeling better? Sakura nodded. Thanks for asking. Sakura, I am sorry that once again I was unable to save you from getting hurt. Lee said, taking her hand in his. I will be sure to keep a closer watch on you. Hey bushy brows, how about you let her husband take care of that? Naruto said as Sakura's sweat dropped. Everyone's here. Ino said, gesturing to the whole group. We should start the game. How are we going to split up the teams in half? Let's play boys against girls. Neji offered. It's not even, Sakura said. There were 8 boys and 5 girls. I'll play on the girls' team. Neji said. What? Naruto and Kiba said, their mouth wide. You're going to play on the girls' team. You say that like it's a bad thing. Naruto-kun, Sakura said sweetly, giving him an evil glare. Naruto barely forced out a rushed whisper. Fine. Do what you want, Neji. Kiba made a sound with his lips that made it sound like a whip was being cracked. Shut up, Kiba, Naruto muttered. Kiba-kun, can you get me a different club? This one seems to be a bit off-center. Hinata said, looking up at him with her bright eyes. Sure Hinata, Kiba said, and as Kiba passed by Naruto he made the same sound Kiba had made earlier. Yeah, touché. The game started and tension was in the air. Neji was showing Tenten how to swing correctly and Lee was fuming in the background. Sakura backed into Naruto and whispered into his ear. This is bad. I know. If this continues, I'm going to talk to Tenten. Sakura said, leaning against his shoulder. Hinata missed the 3rd shot in a row, she frowned sadly. It's okay Hinata, Ino said, patting Hinata on the shoulder. You just need practice. Hey Hinata, try shooting it off that rock right there. Kiba said, pointing to the rock beside the hole. Hinata did and went in. She smiled broadly. Thank you, Kiba-kun. She kissed him in front of everyone, shocking both of them and everyone around them. Naruto sighed. Hey Kiba, you're supposed to be